Hi everyone, my name is Andrey. I'm a researcher at the University of Manchester, and today I decided to make a very unusual video. This video is not about power systems or academia in general. Today I want to talk about visa problems that many students and researchers face in the UK, and specifically I want to talk about ATAS certificate delays. This is a very personal video. The point is that for the last half year or so, I had a very strange situation where I didn't know if I can stay in the UK and if I can keep working here. The point is that my skilled worker visa expired, but I couldn't get the new one because of the ATAS certificate delays. And I know this sounds totally personal, but then I Googled about this problem and I found that thousands of students and researchers had the same problem recently. And I believe that this is a very serious problem, and I believe that it must be better highlighted, and that's why I'm making this YouTube video. Today I will explain what is the ATAS certificate and how to apply for it, what is the extent of the delays now in 2023, and finally I will tell my story, how I got my ATAS certificate, and I will share a bit of advice with you. Okay, let's begin. So first, how will you ever hear about this ATAS certificate? Probably when you will be thinking about joining the academia in the UK as a student or researcher, you will be told that you need to check if you need this ATAS certificate. And then you Google about it, and probably you use this website gov.uk/guidance/academic technology approval scheme, where you can read a lot of official information about this certificate. Let me read what this official website says about the ATAS certificate. The Academic Technology Approval Scheme, ATAS, ATAS, let's call it ATAS in this video, applies to all international students and researchers, except from certain nationalities, who are intending to study or do research at postgraduate level. Basically, this means that if you plan to stay in the UK as a researcher or student, or if you plan to come to the UK to study or do research, you need this certificate. You need it because you will be asked to provide it together with your visa application. So it is a very important certificate, and let's discuss how to apply for it. So first thing that you will do, you will check if you need this certificate using Academic Technology Approval Scheme website, and the interface of this system looks like this. So basically it says check if you need an ATAS certificate, and it asks only a few things. Your activity code, which means your research field, then if you're a student, researcher, and your country of nationality. In my case, I said that my activity is electrical and electronic engineering. I am a researcher, and what is country of my nationality? Russian Federation. And when all of this is selected, you click check, and the message that I see says your answers indicate that you will require an ATAS certificate to study or do research in the UK. So basically, in my case, this means that I need this ATAS certificate to legally study or work in the UK as a researcher. And let me tell you that people from many countries need this certificate. I think the exception is only for some European countries, maybe Switzerland, maybe United States, but many big countries like Russia, India, China, all of them, they require this certificate to study or work as researchers in the UK. Once you realize that you need this certificate, you basically need to apply for it. And you can do this, for example, using this link, academictechnologyapproval.service.gov.uk. And you know, the difficulties and challenges, they begin when you start applying for this certificate. I want to mention that I think this is one of the hardest, most difficult online forms that I have ever filled. It took me like 2 or 3 hours to fill this form because it asks a lot of information. It not only asks your personal information and university where you will be studying or doing research, it also asks such things as your publications. You need to write down, fill the forms about each of your recent publication. Then at some stage you will need to write several paragraphs of text explaining two things. First is your research statement, and second, plans for this position or study and plans after this position. And in my case, I was explaining that I'm developing models for power systems, that they're useful for academia and industry in the UK. And in the second paragraph, I was writing that I plan to stay in the UK after this position. I plan to join maybe another university. Basically, yeah, stay in academia in the UK. And all of this is quite time-consuming to explain your current position and goals and plans after that. And one more time-consuming thing about this application form is that you need to provide information about 3 reference people. And there are certain criteria about these reference people. For example, you should know them at least for 3 years, and one of the people should be from your home native country. And again, I spent some time getting this information. I included both my Russian co-authors and my colleagues and co-authors in the UK. But what I want to say that overall it's quite time-consuming to fill this ATAS application form. And then when everything is ready and when you apply, the second thing I didn't like about ATAS application is that I got no confirmation email. And I mean, this, we will be discussing this many times today, that this service is kind of very poor, it's broken. And yeah, it starts with the fact that you fill a very long, complex form and you don't even get any confirmation email. So the only thing that you see is this interface. So you see in this Academic Technology Approval Scheme website that you have now one application and its status is submitted. And you have reference number. So please write down this reference number because it will be very important for your further applications. Okay, so you applied for a ATAS certificate, you got no confirmation email, but you see the status that your application is active. What next? How long should you wait? Again, if you refer to the official information, let me read it. It says that student and researcher ATAS applications take at least 20 working days to process, which is good. But during busy period, April to September, it can take 30 working days to complete. This sounds quite adequate, 20 or 30 working days, maybe 4 or 5 weeks, and you get your ATAS for your visa. This sounds quite reasonable. But the truth is that in 2023, you will not get your ATAS certificate in 1 month. You will not even get it in 2 or 3 months probably, because we have huge delays with these certificates in the UK. Okay, imagine that you applied for a ATAS certificate and you didn't get it in 1 or 2 months. What's next? Next, you probably need to come to the UK to study or do research, or maybe you plan to extend your contract here, and you need to apply for student visa or skilled worker visa. And when you apply for visa, you use a UK visas and immigration account. And in this account, you also fill a lot of information about you, your sponsorship letter. At the end of this form, once you paid the immigration health search fee and the visa fee, the last step is called provide evidence. So you will be required to upload evidence, a PDF file, depending on your case. And since I am a researcher who wants to extend his contract in the UK, this visa application system told me that in my case, I should upload ATAS certificate as the evidence. And yeah, it is asked to provide the PDF file, my ATAS certificate. So now you realize that this is the main bottleneck, because you cannot proceed with your visa application without your ATAS certificate. But you cannot get your ATAS certificate because the system is broken and you are waiting for a few months, but there is no reply, no information about your certificate. And I was in this situation a few months ago for a very long time, and it's very depressing. I think the situation is simply ridiculous about these certificates. And let's discuss what happens next. So the next thing I did, in about a month or two, I sent an email to the ATAS team. I found their official email address, which is atas@fcdo.gov.uk. And I sent them an email. I didn't get any reply whatsoever, but I just want to show you what is the automatic response that this system provides. And I think that this response is quite miserable. You can see that they are even using bold red fonts here to explain to us their opinion on the problem. But basically they say that they aim to respond to emails within 15 working days. This is not true. And then they say that we are currently experiencing high volume of emails, so maybe we will not reply to your email, and please don't send to us many emails, and please do not apply many times for ATAS certificate. This will not help you to speed up the process. So again, I think this is a ridiculous reply, and yeah, I never got a real reply from this system. So yeah, I was waiting and waiting, and I think in total I waited more than 4 months. During these 4 months, I sent 3 emails to the ATAS team, and I never heard back. And I think an interesting fact is that I'm not even a student. I am a research associate who has been working in the UK for already 2 years. So I'm kind of a trusted person who already did some research here and who already lived in the UK. But in 4 months, I got no decision. During these 4 months, I was also reading about these ATAS certificate delays, and in the internet on some student forums, I read horrible things about this certificate. Cases where people waited for 5, 7 or more months to get it. And the only good thing that I realized from this search is that this problem is already well known in the UK, which probably means that it will be solved, but I don't know, it still exists. And I even found some very good news articles. For example, this article published on The Guardian. The title says, Foreign Office ATAS check scheme is deterring top scientists from UK. I agree with this. And then the article continues, the best international scientists are being deterred from heading to the UK due to this ATAS scheme that is leaving researchers in limbo for months. And I wholeheartedly agree with this term limbo, because for last 5 or 6 months, I was in complete limbo. I couldn't prove my right to rent to my landlord. I couldn't understand if I can stay here for 1 more year to work at the University of Manchester. And most importantly, I couldn't even travel from the UK because I don't have a new BRP, I don't have new visa. So if I travel for a conference, I cannot come back. So complete limbo, and you can imagine that this happens with the best minds that are doing research in the UK. So this is simply an outrageous situation. This article on The Guardian, they had some interviews with professors in the UK. One professor, Alistair MacDonald, he works in the wind energy at the University of Edinburgh, and he said that recently he recruited a PhD student who had to wait 5 months before the clearance. And then this professor said that, in his opinion, this looks like some machine learning algorithm that waits for 4/7 months and then randomly generates some decisions. And again, it seems true, it seems like that, because there is no real feedback from this system. No one understands how it works and when can you expect to get your ATAS certificate. So yeah, it's just ridiculous. Another Indian physicist gave an interview to Guardian. He said that his ATAS application was approved recently after waiting 7 months. And during those 7 months, he contacted other people, other researchers and fellows in the UK, and he created a list of 200 names, people in the same condition. So again, this is very, very disturbing. And we are talking here about the brilliant minds that come to the UK to do their studies. So yeah, it's indeed limbo, and it's a shame that we have this situation now in the UK. Now, let me tell you more about my case and how I got my ATAS certificate and visa. So I applied for ATAS certificate on December 2022, in about 3 months before my previous visa expired. And then when the time came for my visa to expire, I applied for my visa extension. I filled all the forms, I paid the visa fee and the health surcharge fee, but then I couldn't proceed, I couldn't complete my application because I didn't have this ATAS certificate. And I was waiting for several months. In total, I waited till May 10, which means 142 days, almost 5 months. And then there was a deadline to upload the evidence to complete my visa application. So what I did in the end, I uploaded my evidence without ATAS certificate. I wrote a letter to UK Visas and Immigration Office. I will show it to you in a moment, where I said that I'm applying now for visa, but unfortunately I cannot attach my ATAS certificate because of these delays. And then a funny thing happened. In about 3 or 4 days, I got my ATAS certificate to my email. And I think what happened is that this ATAS system is completely broken. It's not working on its own. And after my application, after my complaint in that letter to Visas and Immigration team, they gave a push to the ATAS team and they issued my ATAS certificate in 3 days. So in total, we can say that I got my certificate in 145 days, but this happened only after I pushed this through the visa application through Visas and Immigration Office. And again, this shows how outrageous and disturbing this situation is. Here I want to show you the letter that I sent, that I attached as an evidence. You can see here that I say, "Dear UK Visas and Immigration team, I'm a researcher working at the University of Manchester, and I apply now for skilled worker visa extension. As an academic researcher, I have to submit a ATAS certificate, but unfortunately, due to these delays, I didn't get it in 142 days. My ATAS application number is this." And then in the last paragraphs, I actually complained about this situation. I said that this is damaging my academic career. For example, I said that I cannot participate in some summer important conferences that I plan to attend because of these ATAS delays and subsequent visa delays. And then I said, I will be grateful if you can consider my case before the conference in about 6 weeks. Sincerely, Andrey, Churkin. So in 3 days, when I got ATAS certificate, I got this notification by the email, and also the status of my application in the ATAS system changed. Now it looks like this. You can see this application reference number, and it is said status is decided, decision sent via email. And also I can show you how the ATAS certificate looks like. I don't think I can show you all information for legal reasons, but basically it says the number of the certificate, my name, and then in the middle of this certificate there is a text actually copied from my online form about my research. So those few paragraphs that you will be writing to explain your research intentions, they will be copy-pasted here in your ATAS certificate. And one final funny thing, on the second page of the ATAS certificate, it is said, you should be aware that submitting a fake ATAS certificate is a serious offense. You may face a fine, prison, or ban of up to 10 years if you submit it. So they kind of understand that the situation is very bad, and I can imagine that some students, they cannot get ATAS quickly in legal way, and therefore maybe they will submit fake ATAS certificate. And they even mention this in the certificate itself, that it's not a good idea to submit fake certificates. Now, let's discuss what to do about this problem. So, first of all, please speak with your HR and with your university. They probably already know about this problem, and maybe they will give you some better advice what to do with this ATAS application. The second thing is that try to apply for ATAS certificate as soon as possible. And by that I mean as soon as you know the name of your university where you will be studying or doing research, and the overall direction of your research. I think you can apply for ATAS certificate in 6 months in advance. So please do it. Once you know the name of your university and your research, please apply as soon as you can. I did a mistake. I applied just 3 months in advance, which was not enough. But I should say that I was in a good position because I was already in the UK and I could continue working here. But some foreign students living in different countries, they simply cannot enter the UK and start their studies or research, which is a shame. And my third point is that once you applied for ATAS, you can wait for 2 or 3 months. You can give them some time to maybe check your application, but probably they will not. And then you can try to apply for visa and upload an evidence without ATAS. So you can write a letter explaining your case and explaining that you cannot get ATAS certificate in time because of these delays. This helped in my case, so I hope that maybe this advice will be useful for you as well. This is the situation that we have now with these ATAS certificate delays. As I said, recently I had this case where I didn't know literally if I can stay in the UK and if I can keep working here. And I hope that this problem will be solved soon, but this is a shame that UK government makes life of students and researchers so difficult. So let's see if they can fix it soon. I hope that my experience and a bit of advice was useful to you, and please let me know your experience of recent ATAS applications. And yeah, good luck with your ATAS certificate. Bye, see you soon.